What's going on, gamers? Today we're going to be going over how to install and use the WorldEdit plugin and mod. Before we get into this tutorial, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you can get notified of all our tutorials we upload, just like this one. Building in Minecraft is a relaxing experience, possibly even the most important part of the game, but as fun as it is, placing blocks one by one can easily become tedious. Large structures have hundreds, if not thousands of blocks in them, and putting each down manually is a laborious task, especially when you're trying to think on a larger scale. What if there was a mod that changed this, that made building large-scale structures and terraforming enormous areas as simple as clicking a button, that let you cut, copy, paste enormous buildings between lands and worlds without any fuss or having to leave the game? Enter WorldEdit. You might be wondering what exactly WorldEdit is. WorldEdit describes itself as an easy-to-use in-game map editor, and that's a good way to explain it. It allows for easy world manipulation, terraforming, sculpting, and much more. Plus, it's easy to use and install. Some functions of WorldEdit include manipulating large areas of blocks, copying and pasting between locations, worlds, and even servers, or using brushes to build and carve large areas with your mouse. Today we're going to be going over how to install it both onto a server and in single player. It's worth noting though that WorldEdit was made with as much compatibility in mind, so it comes in two different forms, one as a plugin and then as a mod, either for servers that use mods and can't use plugins or for use in single player. Today we're going to be going over how to install both versions, the plugin and the mod, in any scenario you might need them in. Before we get into it, it's important to note that you need to know which version you'd like. If you're installing it on a server without any mods, then just proceed to installing WorldEdit as a plugin or continue watching this part of the video. Those with modded servers will want to look at installing WorldEdit as a mod on a server section. Lastly, if all you want to do is add WorldEdit to your single player game, skip to installing WorldEdit as a mod on a client. And now we're going to go over how to install it as a plugin on a server. First, you're going to want to jump over to Google, and in the search bar, you're going to want to look up WorldEdit, and then your version of Minecraft, and then plugin. As you can see here, we're going to hit enter, and then we're going to get the official WorldEdit bucket webpage, which is where we would like to go. So once you click on that, it's going to bring you to the WorldEdit bucket page where you can then look for different versions, and we can see what versions or what jar types we can use to install WorldEdit. We're using a paper one, so we know that we're totally covered in that aspect. We're going to click on that download file at the top right because it works for all versions, but if you want a very specific version of WorldEdit, you can see on their Files tab all the different versions they carry on their website. So if you wanted something below a 1.16 or something specific, you would click on this page and then click on the download buttons for that. But now that we've gotten ours, once it's done downloading, what we're going to do is we're going to click and drag this file into a folder where we can easily locate it later on. And now that we've downloaded and moved that file, we're going to jump into our server panel, and we're going to stop our server, as anytime you adjust or upload files to your server, you should be stopping it beforehand. Once our servers come to a full stop, we can jump into the FTP File Access tab, and then we can log in with our information, our username and our password. And once the Files tab loads up, we're going to jump into the Plugins folder of our files. From this tab, we're going to click on Upload. And once we get to the Upload page, we're going to bring up the folder where we have our WorldEdit downloaded to, and then we're going to click and drag that file over to the part of the page where it says Drop Files Here. Now, once we get 100% uploaded and uploaded 1 out of 1 files, all we need to do is head to the top of the page and click on the name of our server at the top. This is going to bring us to the page where we can then either start or restart our server to make sure that we've installed it correctly. If you want to check on the progress of your server, you can, of course, as always, jump into console, and you can type in PL, and then you can either click on the green send button, or you can hit enter once you have a check mark at the top indicating that your server is up and running. Once you hit enter and your server is up and running, it'll tell you that you have WorldEdit successfully installed if you've done it correctly. If you're installing WorldEdit as a mod on a Fabric or Forge server, you can head over to our knowledge base so you can learn how to upload the downloaded jar to your server. It's also worth noting that once you do download this to your server, none of the players who play on your server have to install the mod. If you want to know how to add WorldEdit to your single player game, it's super easy, but the steps that need to be taken will need to depend on whether or not you're installing WorldEdit onto a fresh Minecraft game with no mods, or adding it to a mod pack that you've already installed. The first thing you're going to want to do is head over to Google and search up WorldEdit CurseForge. You can either click on the download page or click their CurseForge link. From there, you're either going to want to make sure that you click on Files at the top, or look at the recent files and click the download link for the recommended file, as that's usually the latest and most updated version of the mod. If you're going to head to Files, make sure that you click on the Files tab at the top of the page and look for a version of the mod that is compatible and updated to your version of Minecraft. The one here that's atop of the recent files list is for 1.7.10 of Minecraft. We're using a 1.16 build, which is right at the top of their page. So once we found that, we can just click on the download link. And once that downloads, what we're going to want to do is make sure that we keep the file. It's important to keep the file so that it's not discarded or anything. Once you keep the file, you can then move the file over to a folder where you can easily locate it later on. Clicking and dragging the file to a folder is the easiest way to do this. Once you've got that in your folder, you're going to then want to head to your desktop. Once you're on your desktop, you're going to then need to bring up the Windows search menu by hitting the Windows key, then type %app data and then %. And then of course hit enter. This is going to bring up your .minecraft folder amongst many other folders, so go ahead and click into that folder. From there, you're going to see a mods folder. All you need to do is just bring up the folder where you have your WorldEdit jar file downloaded to, and then click and drag the file into the mods folder of your Minecraft install. And then that's it. You're ready to play your Forge version of Minecraft with WorldEdit installed. If you want to know how to install WorldEdit on Mac, it's a very similar, simple process as it is to Windows. You're going to need to start off by heading to your search bar and Googling or searching up WorldEdit CurseForge download. This is eventually going to bring you to the page where you can then download the jar for WorldEdit to install it client-side on your Mac OS device. Once the results pull up, you're going to want to click on the first result as long as it's from the official CurseForge website. From there, you can go ahead and head to the Files tab, or you can look at the recommended files on the right of the page. From the Files tab, you're going to see the main files, and you're also going to see a bunch of different files for different versions of Minecraft. The game version that we're on is the one at the top, but you can look at the other ones towards the bottom to see what other options you might have. Once you found a version that you're going to use for sure, then you can go ahead and click on the download link to the right of it. This is going to take you to the page where it will eventually download your file. Once that file is downloaded, you're going to want to click on Downloads to the right of your browser, and make sure that you move this to a folder where you can locate it easily later on. Once you've got your file downloaded, you can then go ahead and head to Finder and then click on Go at the top of the page, and then click on Go To Folder, which will be near the bottom of that tab. In Go To Folder, you're going to want to type in ~library/application/support/Minecraft. Once you type that in, you can hit enter, or you can click on the blue Go button to the right. From there, this is going to take you to your Minecraft install folder. All you need to do is click on the folder where you have the jar file installed, click and drag that file into the mods folder, and you're good to play WorldEdit on your Forge version of Minecraft. Adding WorldEdit to a mod pack is super easy. Once you've downloaded the WorldEdit jar, you can head over to Twitch, and then you can open Twitch up and head to the mods tab. And then you can head to the Minecraft tab of your Twitch launcher. Once you're in the Minecraft tab, you can go ahead and right-click the mod pack that you'd like to add WorldEdit to, and make sure to open that folder up. From the folder, you can go ahead and see that you have your mods folder in your mod pack folder. Then you can open up the folder where you have WorldEdit downloaded to. Then drag that file into the mods folder, and you're good to play your mod pack with WorldEdit installed. For the Technic install, you're going to want to open up your Technic launcher, and then you're going to want to make sure that you're logged in. Once you're logged in, you can then go ahead and head into the Modpacks tab and select a mod pack that you already have installed, such as this one right here. Then you can click on the mod pack options that is highlighted in blue text at the top right, and then you're going to see the install folder. Just go ahead and click on that button. And once you do that, it's going to bring up your .minecraft folder for this mod pack. Then you can just bring up the folder where you have the WorldEdit jar file downloaded to, and then click and drag that file to the mods folder of your mod pack, and then you're ready to play with WorldEdit installed. Then, for the ATLauncher install, all you're going to need to do is make sure that you're logged in, and then click on the Instances tab to the right. From there, you can go ahead and click on Open Folder of a mod pack you'd like to change. Then you can open up the folder and see that it has all the mods there for you. Then you can just click and drag the WorldEdit jar file into the mods folder, and you're good to play with WorldEdit installed. If you're installing on the Voidswrath launcher, all you have to do is make sure that you're logged in and then click on a mod you'd like to change. Then you're going to want to click on the Advanced button, and then you're going to want to click on the Edit Mods button. Once that opens up, you're going to see the folder that you have your mods downloaded to. Just click it and drag it over, and then you can play with WorldEdit installed. If you want to install in the FTB launcher, all you need to do is find a mod pack that you'd like to install it on, then click on My Modpacks. From there, you can click on the More button, and then you can click on the Open Folder button. Once you've opened up the folder, you're going to see your mods folder for the mod pack. Just click and drag the WorldEdit file into that mods folder, and you're good to play with WorldEdit installed. There's so much to go over when talking about WorldEdit, but for today, we're going to go over basic selections, brushes, and schematics. If you want to know more, go ahead and look at WorldEdit's official documentation. We're going to start off by looking at selections. Selections are essentially a box in the world containing all the blocks bounded by its area. Selections are made by establishing 2 points. Think of them as 2 corners on the opposite end of a box. And then you can fill in the rest of the gaps as part of the selection. Establishing these 2 points is pretty simple. The first method is really good if you're in creative. What you're going to want to do is stand over 1 point, and you're just going to go into console and type // POS1 and then hit enter, and then you're going to go to the other point so it forms a cube around the thing that you would like to copy or do whatever with, and then head to your second point and then type // POS2 and then hit enter. And then you can do whatever you want with it. Here, I'm just going to do // copy, which will let me paste this wherever I want. The second way we're going to do this is we're going to head over to the second point. If you're really accurate, you can do this from far away. I'm standing close, so I'm just going to do this for demonstration purposes. I'm just going to look at this block, and I'm going to type // HPOS1. And then I'm going to go to the second point, and I'm going to look at this block, and I want it to be the last point. So I'm going to do // HPOS2 and then hit enter. And then I'm going to have that area selected so you can do whatever you want with it. And the last one, which is also very useful, and I recommend you do this most of the time, is //wand. //wand will let you do the same thing as the other two. But this way, you can just kind of hit the block and make sure that you're doing it correctly. If it's not disappearing and it's giving you this animation, then you know that you've selected that position. Now that I've selected my first position by left clicking, I'm going to head over to the other position and I'm going to right click, which will make this whole cubed area selected by me. And now I can copy and paste this wherever I want. Selecting sections of a map is super cool and super useful. If you're somebody who likes to build things or like big cities, or somebody who maybe wants to adjust a village or something and you're doing it in creative, this is a really good way to make your city look as good as it can, as fast as you possibly can make it. So as you can see here, I'm going to place 2 different corners around this little torch structure. I need to make sure that it's at least at the level of the flame or above it so that it can capture it from top to bottom. So I'm going to place that first position there, and then I'm going to make a yellow block there, and then I'm going to make sure that one of them is the first and one of them is the second position. Now I can / copy, and then I can go to a different location or a secondary location, and then I can / paste once I find my position, and then I can enter that to place it into a different spot. Now, this is going to paste in relativity to where you copied it from. So as you can see here, it's kind of placed awkwardly just because I'm standing in a place that I copied it from, and I maybe should have stood a little bit farther away, but if I don't like what I did, I can always do / undo. Now, when you have a certain area selected, you can modify the blocks within that area. So let's say that here we dug a hole and maybe we just want to refill it or something. So I'm gonna / set, and then I'm going to select a block type. This will replace all of the air within the selected area with the specific block that I've selected. Here, I just selected yellow wool because it was towards the bottom of the list. And as you can see, this entire block, even the blocks inside of it, are filled with yellow wool. Super useful if you want to fill areas in with certain blocks. Now, maybe you did that outside like I did, and you really don't want that there. You can just / undo, which will undo all of your edits. Now, if you still have that area selected, there's a number of things you can do to change the area. I'm going to type in / replace, and then I'm going to replace the stone bricks with maybe something like cobblestone. So this will replace all of the stone bricks in the area with cobblestone. Now, some of these are stone bricks slabs, so if they look like they haven't changed, well, they're not going to change because they're stone brick slabs and not stone bricks. You gotta be very specific with the type of changes that you make. As you can see here, some of the stone bricks that used to be stone bricks are now turned into cobblestone, which is super useful. The brush tool is also really useful if, let's say, maybe you wanted to carve a mountain or make a mountain. What you can do is type / brush or / br, and then you can type sphere to make little spheres. And then you're going to have to select a block to see what kind of stuff you'd like to do with it, which will be really useful if you use one block for this, because what you can do after is replace the blocks. We're also going to set it to -h because that'll make the sphere hollow. And then we're going to select something, just something off of this list, like yellow glazed terracotta, because why not? And then what we're going to do is we're going to paint the area with just a bunch of these. And as you can see, I placed from pretty far away, but when we start digging into the terracotta, we're going to see that the sphere that was placed is hollow. So what happens when we start placing more? Well, it starts becoming like a mound of objects, and if you place it enough, you can make mountains, you can make cool hills and whatnot. It's very useful for building. And of course, if you don't like what you did, you can always / undo multiple times to get rid of the changes that you made. Another cool thing you can do with brushes is you can make cylinders. Now, the way that you do this is / brush and then cylinder, of course, and then -h. And then we're going to select the radius, and then we're going to select the height. So 6 by 1 is a perfect height for a cylinder. Now, as you can see here, it's hollow. So it's only useful for a couple of different things, but it doesn't have to be hollow. As you can see here, it's very effective at putting down cylinders, even from a distance. But maybe you're nearing the end of your build and you're coming to a point where you don't need to add more stuff. You just need to adjust what you've already put down. We're going to be adjusting or smoothing solid blocks. So we're going to do / brush, smooth, and then we're going to put in 2, and then we're going to select solid blocks. When we hit enter and we start right-clicking the land, you're going to see that it's going to start smoothing out blocks. Now, it's only going to do it in 2s or pairs, which is very useful for when you're making small selections or adjustments. It's not going to do a whole bunch at once, but it's going to do enough to be noticeable. Now, It's not necessarily at random, but you're going to notice that this kind of has a skill curve to it as opposed to maybe putting down cylinders and so forth and so on. So I really recommend that you stick to replacing stuff or experimenting with this until you're very familiar with how to use it. Now, as you can see, it's trying really hard to use the same sort of blocks or to smooth this out, but it's not doing a super great job. So this is going to be more for terraforming and adjusting the land that will be for specific builds or for specific structures that you're making. And now we're going to go over my favorite part of WorldEdit, which are the schematics. Schematics work with selections, so you're going to need to go around and select your first position, and then you're going to need to go and select your second position to make your selection. Once you've made your selection, you can go ahead and jump into console, and then you can type in / copy. Now, once you've copied it, you're going to need to make note of where you copied it from. So if you're copying it from the top, you're going to be placing it from however many blocks above you are. I'm 29 blocks above the ground, so when I paste it, I'm going to need to be 29 blocks above the ground or so. So right here, I'm just making note of how high above the ground I am currently. And once I've copied it, I can type / schem and then save, and then I need to name it. So I'm just going to name it Sky Home. Once I've named it, you can go ahead and hop into a different world or a different server if you have the schematics saved to a server, and you can go ahead and carefully place or paste your schematic in. So here, I'm flying above 29 blocks above the ground, so now I'm going to head into console, and then I'm going to type / schem load, and then Sky Home, which is the name of the schematic. And then when I place that in by typing / paste, it's going to paste it into the ground with all the blocks and all of the fire and everything in it. Schematics are super useful, and they're stored differently from single player to your server. So now I'm going to show you how to upload your single player schematics to your server. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to head to somewhere like your desktop, and then you're going to want to hit the Windows key to bring up the Windows search. And then you're going to want to type in %app data and then %, and then hit enter, which will bring up your .minecraft folder. Once you're in your .minecraft folder, you're going to want to jump into the config folder, then the WorldEdit folder, and then your schematics folder. What we're going to be doing is we're going to upload this to our server. But when we do upload it to our server, we're going to make sure that we stop our server first. And then once the server is stopped, we're going to jump into the FTP file access. Once you do hop into the FTP file access, make sure to log in with your information. And once you've logged in and you're uploading mods, you're going to want to jump into the config folder, and then you're going to want to jump into the WorldEdit folder. And then you're going to want to jump into the schematics folder, where you can then bring up the folder where you have your schematics saved to. And once you bring this up, you can then click on the upload button to the left of the page, open up the folder, and then click and drag it to the drop files here part of the page. Once it's uploaded, you can go ahead and click back. Now, you can also download these schematics by clicking on the name of them. So let's say that you did these schematics in the server, you can just download them that way. Now, if you're uploading it as a plugin, you're also going to want to start off by stopping your server and then jumping into FTP file access once your server stopped. Then log in with your information. And once this page loads up, you're going to want to hop into the plugins folder on your file page. Once the plugins folder loads up, you're then going to want to click into the WorldEdit folder from here. Then you're going to want to click into the schematics folder, and just like we did for mods, what we're going to do is click on the upload button, then bring the folder where a schematic is, and we're going to drop the schematic file to the drop files here part of the page to upload it. If your world is crashing when you're trying to load large schematics, what you're going to want to do is make sure that your server's stopped and go ahead and jump into the plugin list that we have to the left. Then you're going to want to make sure that you look for async WorldEdit. What this is going to do is it'll mitigate many of the performance draining functions by spreading them out over time and multiple threads of CPU, leading to far fewer crashes. From here, you could just install the plugin or look up our guide on how to install plugins, and Just install the async WorldEdit from their page using the jar file. Another issue that you might have is not having permissions to use WorldEdit when you're in the game. What you're going to want to do to fix this is hop into console and type OP and then username of the user that you'd like to have permissions for, and then hit enter, while the server's running, of course. Well folks, that's all I've got for you today, and as always, I hope you have lots of fun.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more great content like this, then subscribe or click these videos. Until next time, gamers.